Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt here with CF Pro Tools, and in this video, we are going to look at kind of a cool new feature. Nothing really new, but just kind of a new thing that you don't see very often. We're going to look at something that was built into CF Pro Tools page, and that is the pricing page. We're not trying to push the tools, of course, but I mean, if you want CF Pro Tools, we're here for you. But what I wanted to look at was, you see how this thing does this cool little annual, monthly thing where you can kind of click on one and then go to the other, and then you get all these different options. I've been around ClickFunnels World and CF Pro Tools almost since the beginning, since about 2014, 2015, and when I saw this, I was like, I've seen this done. It's not like it's a brand new thing, but I've never seen it done inside of ClickFunnels. So that was the first thing I asked when I saw this with Jamie was, dude, you got to show me how you did this. I mean, I had a pretty good idea because that's what I do. He comes up with cool stuff, and I try to figure out how he did it, and then I train you guys on how to do it. So mostly with show hide elements and a couple other little fancy ideas and things that you can do. We have the past product add-on that's part of CF Pro Tools, that's part of this, and I'll show you how that worked. So that's what we're going to talk about today, though. It's how to do this, how to organize your products. This also works with other, if you have, here, let me show you what I was working on with a customer, and that was something like this. So like somebody wants, say they have courses or they have live events and they have numerous of them, say like a September class or an October class, a November class. You can use the same concept to build and organize all of your products so that you don't have basically a laundry list of products inside of your order elements inside of ClickFunnels. Okay, so now this, and I'll get this question off the list right up front. This can be done in CF 1.0 or CF 2.0. In this particular video, we're going to be looking at how to do this inside of CF Classic. Okay, now the show hide elements, which is the primary way that we're going to be doing this, does work inside of CF 2.0. So you can do the exact same thing. You just have to go and do it in 2.0. Just be familiar with the editor. The same concepts are there. So what we're going to do, let me break this down real quick for you. So all you guys are seeing at any given time is basically one row. Even in here, you're just seeing one row worth of content. This is a row. When you click on annual discount, it shows one row or shows one section with a 4-column row. This particular one has a 4-column row in it, and that section the annual section shows when you click on this, and it hides the monthly section. Okay, so when you click on monthly plans, it shows the monthly plans section, and it hides the annual discount plans section. Okay, so that's all it really is. But imagine if you had if you didn't have this cool little plan, this idea here, what you would be left with is a product selector with 8 products in it. Or if you're using something like this idea here, this was built out for 5 months worth of products. Now imagine if you had 5 products and each one of these classes had 3 different options for like a new student, a continuing student, a returning student, or maybe you had general discount. Maybe you have general admission, a VIP admission, and a super elite unlimited admission. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. But imagine if you had all those for all these different classes and you wanted your potential students, buyers, to be able to pick from them, and all they had was this product selector with a laundry list of bullet points or radio buttons to be able to pick which one they were going to. It would be possible, they could do it, but it would be confusing. It really wouldn't look that great. So the idea behind what we're doing here today is just creating something that you guys can put together, organize your product, make it look nice, and your customers can walk away knowing, okay, that was cool, that worked. They're probably, I mean, if this is done right, they're not going to know the difference. They're just going to pick what they need and they're going to move on. That's not what goes through most people's heads unless they're a designer or a hacker, a nerd like we are. And we go through, if I saw this in somebody else's page, like when I saw it here, I was like, oh, Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That looks really cool. I love how this works. And I knew right away. I knew as soon as I saw this, I knew that we were going to get questions. We were going to get people coming to us in CF Pro Tools, and they were going to be asking about this, saying, I want to see this. I want to see how you guys did this. What did you guys do to make this happen? So, well, that's what we're here to talk about today. I know I keep on talking. How long have I been going? I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go through a quick editor, and I'm not going to go for forever, but I want to give you guys the basic nuts and bolts on how we built this. And I might just do like 2 months here, but I'll give you guys the basic nuts and bolts of this so that you guys can get started and start building something like this on your own. So now let's look at the way this is basically my testing funnel where I test a lot of order pages and a lot of our add-ons to make sure that they work. So down here on the very bottom is where I put these two. So the first page is the order page. That's the one that we're looking at right here. That's the order, or well, it's a sales page is what it is. So there's no order elements on this page. So when somebody picks the one that they want, watch what happens. If they pick continuing student, it goes to another page. It goes to an order page. Of course, you can style this, make this look as pretty as you want. I've got a real basic template in here, but you'll notice that it picked the same product that was chosen on the previous page. So if I go back here and pick new student, and they go over here, it now picks new student. So we'll go back and show you that one more time. But with a continuing student. So if you go over here, you pick the one that you want. Instead of it showing us 15 different product concept ideas, it shows us the one thing that they chose. We don't want them to get confused. A confused buyer, is that right? A confused buyer never buys or something. A confused prospect never buys. So we want them to see the one thing. We want them to look at it, basically agree and say, yep, that's what I was buying. And then go through the checkout process, whatever it is, and however you guys set that up, okay? I tested out a few other things. I think the Brazil only add-on here. So if you haven't already seen it, by the way, we have a new, it's called Single Countries, I think it's called Single Country Shipping, which allows you to, it's just like our USA only shipping, but it now allows you to set the country to one single place. So if it's Brazil and you only want to ship to Brazil, you can force your country to whatever country you want. So in this particular example, I just set it to Brazil. All right, that's not necessarily part of this tutorial or this demonstration, but I was like, oh, cool. You know what? I'll just tell these guys about that. Go to cfprotools.com. You guys can get that now, right? See how I did that? All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to have an order page, a sales page, and an order page, and we're going to use the add-on called Pass Product, all right? So there is an add-on. It's called Pass Product. Let's go and look for that one. So if I go over to CF Pro Tools and go into my account, and you can click on Create Add New, or you can look for Create New up here. I've already created it, but it's called Pass Product. I think I've got a bunch of renditions, but I think you only need like one because I don't think there's any configuration. There is a minor configuration, and that is to allow other products to be hidden. You remember when I came over here and it hid all the other product ideas on here? That's why they're hidden. So because I chose true to hide that one. So once you create that and you make it, you're going to grab your code, you're going to put it into your page, and then you're going to put that on believe that goes on to the second step. So as you see, we have the sales page here, and then the checkout order page is the second one. So let's go look at that real quick. The page where you're going to put all your products is going to be the second page. It's going to be in the order page. That's this one. All right, let's go to settings, tracking code, and then we're going to go to footer code. I've got order summary, pass product, and single country shipping in here. This is the one that we just copied out. That's the one that I just showed you, okay? So that's going to go on the order page. That's also where you're going to put all of your products, okay? And then what you're going to do, what I would do, because you might end up with a lot of products. I've only got a couple, because just for testing purposes here. But what you're going to want to do probably is go into the products tab and just go through and look for those product IDs and just make a little list in a notepad. Make sure to go up and grab your, okay, you guys can, I believe you guys may not be able to see that actually. So up in the URL bar, it says product. Basically, you can see where it says products, and then just next to products in the URL bar is is basically the product ID. Here, let me see if I can back this up so you guys can see that. Okay, so you guys might be able to see that here. Right up here in the URL bar is the product ID. So what I want you guys to do, once you've created all your products, whether it's 8, 15, 20, or 50, I don't care, go in and create a little list. You're going to want your product IDs handy further down the road. So just make sure that you have a copy of all those product IDs, right? And then, of course, go through and set up your products however you need to set those up. Just so you guys are seeing just the basic parts of this page that really matter the most to you, we're going to come in here and I'm just going to show just a portion of the page. All right, so let's do this. Let's go back to ClickFunnels. We'll go back to my funnels, back to the bottom page. We're going to go to the sales page. So once you have your product set up, you got those product IDs, and you have that code already plugged in, we're going to spend the majority of our time on the other page, which is the sales page. Okay, so let's go to the overview on this, and then we're going to edit that page. All right, there's a lot of hiding stuff and a lot of whatnot, so I'm going to give you guys kind of the quick overview of what that looks like, and I'm going to create these sections. I'm going to basically create a kind of just a little duplicate section of this without duplicating it, so you guys can see what I did to do this. So if you wanted to create something like this, or you just wanted to do maybe an annual and monthly, maybe you would make, if you got 5, you would end up making either 5, it could be 4, 3, or 2. Just pick the column, whatever it is that you want to organize by, whether it be monthly or months. Maybe you want to organize by annual plans and monthly plans. You would pick 2 columns in that particular case. I think that would work. Yeah, this would work. So what you're going to do, let's do that for this particular example just to make it easy. So you would have your monthly, and what we're going to create, you would think that you would be creating a text element, but what we're going to do, we're going to create a button element instead, because it's going to make this go better. So we're going to create a button, and let me see if I can find my button here. And you're going to come into set. Nope, you're going to style this. That's going to be the first thing that I would do, but you might want to give it a name like annual plans. This will be the default annual plans, just like that. You can select your font, come in and make it whatever you want it to be. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come down here and you're going to style it with the colors. So you make it look, so it's a button that kind of blends in with the page, kind of like we've done here. This is probably just a button or text with some JavaScript, but we're not going to be adding JavaScript to this. We're just going to be making a button so it looks like it did on this page over here, right? So let's go back to that. So these here, they're just buttons. That's all they are. So let's come over here. Annual plans, we're going to go to, let's see, what did I pick? The text color will be black. We'll make that black, I think. And then our background color is going to be white, or gray, so that it kind of covers, no? It's kind of gray. Of course it would choose. We want it to look like I'm going to use this one, background color. Oh, we want to make it transparent. That would make sense, right? So background color, we're actually going to come in here and just make it transparent. So whatever the background color is, it'll blend in with that, right? So we now have this, but we want to make the border go away, kind of. So there's a couple things we want to do in here. We want the border to be none. That way the border lines go away. Now it looks like text. That's pretty much it. Now, one other thing that I am going to do while we're in here, we're going to go back to that advanced area there. Of course, you guys can't see that very well. Let me see if... Okay. You guys can see that a little better. So we are in here. What I'm going to do is doing all this stuff on the fly. I know it's fun, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to come in here back to the advanced settings, and I am going to make the vertical space. Horizontal, you can probably make whatever you want, but the vertical space, you're probably going to want to be at 0 because we are going to put some additional elements in there, and you don't want the other elements to look really far away from it, okay? So we now have annual plans. What I'm going to do is I'll clone that, and then we'll put that over here. So we now have annual plans, but now we're going to take this one and just call it monthly plans. And you can make that larger text, larger size or smaller size, whatever you want, but they're kind of far apart. So let's go do one other thing with this, and that is going to be, we're going to go back into the advanced settings, and I should be able to find where these are. We're going to make this one right, and then this one, hopefully they're not too close to each other, but we'll make this one left. That's in the advanced settings there. And now we have monthly. Okay, that's pretty good. That's actually good like that. So now you'll notice on the setup here, we have like a bar below, right? So whenever we click on this, it's not just showing the sections, it's also showing a little line or a divider underneath there, right? So what we now need to do is go back in here and say, okay, how do we do that? And what you can actually see where it says show height under here. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to add an element, and that is going to be a divider. So let's go find those dividers, and there it is. You can go scroll down and find it in the content blocks, or you can just search it up, and there are dividers in CF 2.0 as well. So you can see this looks a little bit rough, so we're going to do a little bit of work on this. We'll probably do, let's go with 80%. We're going to do height 3, and let's make that maybe 2. And we'll go back to 3. And we'll change that color to like red, and I think that's what we were using before. Let's make this right aligned for this particular one. We're going to make the size on that one like 10%. Nope. Okay, 10%, a little. Let's keep 25%. I don't like how that looks. Okay, so let's think twice about that one and how that would how we could fix that and make it so that this looks a little bit better. So let's take that top margin out a little bit so it's underneath the plan. I just took the top margin down to 0, so that way this divider is right underneath it. But we're probably going to want to, let's see if we can set, I have an idea, but let me see. That didn't do any good. There, I was going to say that. Let's go to the advanced tab. Adjusting the side margins in here. That doesn't work. All right, we may have to adjust our ideas here. Let's go to a 3. Let's go to a 4-column row. Okay. So we have a 4-column row here, but what I'm going to do is just bring these down here, and we're just going to put the divider into that 4-column row, and then we're going to center everything. So, all right. So you kind of got to play around with it. And then just kind of figure out what works best for you, and then go from there. So let's look at this one, style, right, center, and we're going to make that one more like 50%. Let's keep the 50%. Okay, now it's centered. Now we just have to do the same thing with this one, and I'm going to duplicate this, clone that. We're going to bring that over here, and then take this monthly plans, go back to the advanced tab, and make that a centered. All right. So now we have, let's get rid of this row here because that's a 2-column row. All right. So we now have a 4-column row, and we're just using the inner 2 to make this work. Now, if you wanted to tighten this up maybe a little bit more, you could probably do that by doing that, but I think I would just keep it like this for the time being. Maybe you can, okay, yep, you could use the width for the row to kind of tighten things up just a tad bit more if you wanted there. If you really wanted to, you could still, I would try to keep it centered. That way the divider is centered underneath it. If you try to left and right justify things, it's going to get a little bit messy in the long run, right? So what you're going to do from here, let me show you how we did this. So we have sections. You can see this whole section here. I called it September section. Well, we have more than one section. So we actually have, if I go to manage and then come down here to, you can see that I've got an October section, and a November section. So let's unhide both of these. And you can now see that we have a September, October section and a November section. So let's just take a quick look at this real quick, what this consists of. It's basically a section with a row, and that row says September. Basically, each one of these sections looks exactly the same with the exception of the fact that this is November, this one's October, and this one is September. Let's look at the example of CF Pro Tools. You don't really see that in here because there's only the two options, so you technically don't even need that one. I think it's just more for trying to stay organized, personally organized, and definitely make sure that the person that's buying definitely knows what month they're sitting on, right? Like this, if you click on October, they're like, okay, that's October. They know that they're looking at October. But do you need that in there? No, not necessarily. You could just completely remove that. And then what you're going to have is these different sections. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This page should consist of 9 products. And what we're going to do, you can see each one of these just has the pricing table element on here. And then we've just changed up some colors and some text, a little bit of the copy, and that's it. And then down at the bottom, we added a button. Now this one says new student, this one says continuing student, this one says returning student. You can make up whatever you want for yours, but each one of these buttons is going to connect or pass the correct product ID for those products that we already talked about on the order page. So we have the regular page, which is the sales page, which is this page, and then when you click on one of these buttons, it's going to pass that particular product over to the next page. But at any given time, there's 9 products here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm not going to count them all, but you can see they're all right here. But this isn't organized. This is just going to be confusing. So we set up this system so that they just click on 1 or 2 of these, and then what happens is it shows and hides the correct section, and then they could just pick the right one that they want. So instead of seeing a bunch of options, they only see 2 or 3 that are, appropriate for them at that particular time, if that makes sense, right? Which is completely what we're talking about this entire time. So that being said, if you have 9 products, then you need to connect 9 buttons to the correct product on the next page, which is where I was going with that. So let's look at how that's done. Once you've created this, design this, make this look however you want. Chances are, it'll probably look pretty well the same. All these are the same products. It's just that these ones are for November, these ones are for October, and these ones are for September, right? So let's look at how we set this up. I will use this one right here in the top left, the new student. It's just a button here. It's not part of the pricing table element. It is a button that actually falls below there, and then we just made it so that it fills the width and there's no top margin. So if you go in there, I can make this fit by pulling that up with the top margin, go into the advanced settings, and then come down and make sure that the button width is set to fill width, just like that. Okay, that's all we did with these here to make those look halfway decent, and then we change the colors so that they fit the scheme and make it look halfway decent. Okay, so where are we at? Let's go back into that button, and we're going to go to set action, and what we're going to do is we're going to link to the next page. Okay, so you don't have to put the entire URL unless it's on a completely different URL, but it's in this case it's just the next page in the funnel. So we just put a slash instead of the full root URL, which takes it to the next page. I put the link or the URL, the path to the next page, and then we have to add in some parameters. So this is the path for the second page. That's the order page. That's the one that actually has all 9 products on it that we previously were like, hey, you know what? We need those product IDs. Let's go write those product IDs down in a separate space. So we have those product IDs. We're going to add a parameter, and that is $PID, which is product ID, equals the product ID for the product that you want to pass. So this particular product over here, which is the new student, September new student, $99 is going to have a very unique, each one of these is going to have a unique product ID. So we're going to go into each one of those 9 products, each one of these 9 buttons, and we're going to go into set action. We're going to make sure it's set to go to website URL. And you could do this again in CF 2.0. And you're going to go here. You're just going to make sure it goes to the next page in the funnel or whatever link it is. Don't say it. There is an option to go to the next page, by the way, which is this one here. That's not the one that we're going to use. We're going to use go to the website URL. Make sure to put the link to that next URL with a question mark, PID. That's the parameter, and that PID equals the product ID for the product that you want to be selected on the next page. Okay, so that's how you're going to do it. You're going to make sure to go through and just make sure that each one of these buttons has, it's basically the same link. The only thing that's going to be different on each button is that product ID. So you can go through each button and then put basically the same link and then just change out the product ID for each button. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. Once you've done that, once you've got all that set up, you're going to simply hide what you want, whatever it is that you want to be set by default, which in this case, we want September to be set by default. So we're going to hide everything else, October and November sections. So we're going to go to the October section. We're going to hide that, go to the eyeball, hide that, and November. We want that one hidden by default, so we're going to hide that one. Okay. Now, in the same vein, whatever month you have set to by default, which in this case was September, and that was it. We have whatever but see how the button is set down here underneath, or not the button, the divider. We don't want that divider to be underneath every single one of them. We want that divider to be set underneath only whatever the default is. So we need to hide every other one. So we're going to hide the monthly divider. So I'm going to hide that. Okay. So now the only one would be annual plans. Now this particular example, we don't have annual and monthly plans. We have September, October, and November. So I'm just, at this point, technically I could get rid of this because we're not actually using it, but what I'm showing you here is just the different ways that you can set this up and how to set this up. So you've got September, October, and November, and I've got the default as September. That's the one that has the divider underneath it, and October and November are hidden. Now, I kind of alluded to this at the beginning of this video, but the way that this works is when somebody goes into this page and they click on September, what's happening is it's going to show September and it's going to hide October and November. Okay, if they click on October, and same for this divider right here. If they click on October, it's going to show the October divider, hide the September and November dividers, and then it's going to show the October section while simultaneously hiding the September and November section. So we can go back here and see this work in real time, how quickly it works. So September, that's all that happened there. You saw it in the blink of, literally the blink of an eye. You click on October and it hides September and November specific information, like the divider. I click on September, bam, it just hid October and November dividers and shows the September section, and then hides the October and November section. I think you guys get the idea and the concept. But from a user standpoint, it just looks beautiful. It just looks functional and simplistic, not confusing, which is what we want. From a technical standpoint, for those of you guys who are like me and like to tear stuff apart, put it back together, and try to figure things out, that's how it's done. That's how it works. And it's really, it's simplistic, but can be confusing and complex. But at the same time, it's very simple. It's very simple. So I'll give you an example here, but just so that we don't go like a super long time, I'm already at 30 minutes on this. I'm going to give you guys the overview for like October, the way that would work. Let's get rid of, I'm actually going to get rid of this and say, okay, so I just got rid of that. So on October, and this works the exact same way, just a little bit simpler. When you're doing monthly and annual, you're just going to show monthly, hide annual, or vice versa. When you're doing, you're going to get really complex. You start doing September, October, November, and December and January. You start going out 5 months, it's going to get crazy, right? So, if you have a person to do this full time, then by all means do it. So let's go into the settings. This is just a button, and you're going to go into set button action, and you're going to go, instead of submitting the page or going to the next step or going to a website URL, you're going to show hide action. That's what you want to select in here. Okay. Can you guys see this? Yes, you can. Let me pull this out just a little bit so that you guys can see this. Hold on a second. All right. So I got a lot of stuff open. That's why I keep this zoomed in as much as I can. But let's come back here. If I go back to that October button, back to this select, you guys can come in here and see all of the elements and show. So what you're going to do is you're going to show all these. So we're showing and hiding. You can do both at the same time. You're going to come in here and you're going to show the correct divider element. So that would be this particular one. And then you're going to show the sections, the October section, and you're going to show, oh yeah, that's right. Because we're on the October button, you want to show the October, right? So just the October one. But we're also going to hide the other ones, which are going to be the September, and actually you can see it highlight over on the left side there. It's going to hide the September divider and the November divider, which you can't see because it's already hidden. And then it's going to hide the September section, and it's also going to hide the November section. So you just go through here. It's just a checklist. Find the ones you want to hide and hide them. Find the ones you want to show and show them. And then from there, it's really up to your creativity. But you're going to do that for the September button. You're going to go in and make sure that that's set. You're going to do that for the October button. You're going to go in there and make sure that all this stuff is set for the show and hide. And you're going to do that for November. And that's pretty much it. So that was my long-winded way of saying that's how you set something up like this. And then at the end of the day, this is exactly how it works. So you've set the buttons up. At this point, we've set up all your sections. We've set up your buttons like this. And we've set up all the products so that when you click on the particular product, it has the right link. So you can actually, my big head might be in the way over there, but we can look at it over here. The buttons have the correct links. So we've now set up all of our products with the correct links, going to the correct product IDs. All right, you've done that. You've gone into you've gone to your order page and you've set all your products up. You've gotten all your product IDs and you've added the, let me go back, actually leave. I'm going to leave this page and go back to the order page itself. And we'll edit this. Let's come over here. Settings. Where are we at? Tracking code. All right, so go into your tracking code, your footer code, and make sure that you have the pass product add-on on there so that it passes the products from the sales page over to the actual order page. So now you have your products, you have everything set up. Everything's set up to come over here and be passed in. Make sure that you have your order page completely figured out, not figured out, but built out, styled, and set up the way that you want it to work, okay? So that is how this whole little section would work out at the end of the day. And when you click on a product on the sales page, it seamlessly carries that product over here to the next page, and you can see which product is selected, and then the person that's buying can buy their stuff. You can have a bump on here if you want even. The bump probably should not be specific to the particular month or whatever product it is that they're buying, so just make sure that it does something for them, but it should not be tied to the particular class that they're taking, okay? All right, so hopefully this helps, and I hope that you guys have gotten something out of this. If you guys want to see a 2.0, a CF 2.0 course or a little class on that, how that worked, I can get something set up for you. But for this, it's going to be pretty well the same way. Past product may or may not work. I'll have to look into that and see how that one works. But for CF Classic, this is how that would work. And I will put together a 2.0 training and get you guys all set up on how that works as well. Okay? Thank you guys so much. If you haven't been over to cfprotools.com yet, if you guys are already members, you guys are a family already, and we love having you guys around. Let us know what you want to see more of around here. If you're not a member, go to cfprotools.com, grab a 14-day free trial. Make sure that you've selected, of course, the correct monthly plans or annual plans, and that you guys get what you guys are coming here looking for. Okay? I look forward to hearing more from you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.